Welcome everyone to the 10th, I triple checked, weekly online league for Altered TCG. I am joined by my great co-caster, Blue. How are you doing tonight, Blue?
You know what, Boops? I'm hungry. Hungry for some good competitive Altered. So hungry, in fact, that I'm feeling quite dizzy. Like if I was standing, I might wobbledy wobble. It's time for another Altered weekly squabble. No need to dawdle. Come right in and I'll shake your heads with knowledge like a bobble. Commentary so good that it will make your knees wobble as we watch one winner take a stone path to victory, bigger than a pebble, but smaller than a boulder. That's right, I call that path cobble.
Alright, that was impressive. He can't hear you, but everyone should clap, because that was pretty good. I'll clap. You can kind of hear it. So, as always, I only do commentary every other week, so I did check what's been going on this past week. And for the Monday and Wednesday league, there was also a couple other events happening at the this week as well, or last week, like the Exalt Celebration 2, the Go for Altered kickoff, and the Kellen Guys bi-weekly event. So I was kind of talking to chat before you came here, and the things I was noticing was top four in general. You're either Treyst, Aphanis, or Sigismar were the things I saw the most, with a couple Tejo list in there on one of the events. What have you been noticing for the past couple of weeks?
Pretty similar. I still do think consistency-wise, we're probably going to see more Trace than anything else, but we've also seen a few good other heroes pop up on occasion. I mean, we still see a lot of Sigismar because I think it's just as far as like barrier to entry, everyone loves Sigismar. And then the Tajas that have been popping up have been really good as well. A lot of them focusing on those anchored spindle harvesters or any other uniques that they could find, kind of thing. So yeah, pretty similar to what you're talking about. Haven't seen anything out of the norm, and realistically, it's nice seeing that variety in general and not see one hero completely dominate the meta.
Yeah, for sure. I think like everyone's noticed Waru kind of like non-existent a little bit right now. One or two might pop up in like the top 16, but it's been pretty rare for it to reach like top 8 and above, but maybe that'll change tonight, who knows. We were talking if I thought like that was just a reactionary thing to the nerf, people just falling off of it naturally, or if people were trying it outside of these events and just like deciding that they weren't going to be successful. But you know, it's there's always an emotional part to like picking your deck as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it, and I've seen someone post about it, like for the PAX U events, where you saw a lot of people playing what are quote unquote the good heroes at the moment between like Trace, Stephanus, Sigismar, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And then the rest of it was kind of like whatever anyone felt like they wanted to play kind of thing.
yeah,
So, which I don't think is a bad thing. It kind of opens up heroes to be explored and find what they might be good at. I think Justin with Equinox has said that there's still stuff that we haven't figured out yet as far as game mechanics that could be exposed. So should be interesting to see if anyone finds any other fun decks in the future before season 2, and maybe during season 2 once the additional cards are released.
yeah, for sure. I'm sure a lot of people have seen the cards that were shown at PAX U. Everyone's free to talk about them in the chat. I'll probably ask you about PAX U during the stream because you were there, from what I remember.
I wasn't. I had to
Oh, you
cancel
weren't?
last
Oh, you had
minute.
to cancel? Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, had a family thing come up unfortunately, but I did watch on my phone as I was doing other things. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah,
Yeah, well,
unfortunately not, but I kept up at least.
yeah.
I can't be spoiled.
That's too bad, but it happens. It's life.
Hmm.
Let's see. So, hasn't started yet. Look like we're at 53 players. What do you, so we kind of talk about this every time, but what are you hoping to see? And I mean, I think I know both of our answers, but it's
Well, I mean, 2 weeks ago, I was able to get it Saudi up there on the thing, so that
Yep.
was good. But past that, just variety as usual. People playing what they want to play. Will be cool to see the Arjun being played by a Keelan guy that I know he's going to be playing. So just a bit of everything. I wouldn't mind see some of those lower tier heroes crack the top 8 and give everyone a run for their money.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would like to see like any Bravos hero crack the top 8. It's too bad that you're not on Saudi tonight, although you might be. I bet you could do commentary and play the game at the same time.
You know
Um,
what? I'm 100% focused on the fans. I won't let you guys down anyway. But yeah, continue.
let's see if it started.
I don't know how that works. Where like if you have nasal problems, it's easier to speak in a low octave than it
Yeah,
is anything else. But
you
there you go.
gotta speak more through your like diaphragm and not your nose.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome everyone to the final match of the December 11th Altered Weekly Online League. This is the 10th week of the Wednesday League. For the final match tonight, we've got a Sigismar versus Treyst. How are we feeling about this matchup, Blue?
Well, it's interesting because we saw this matchup go two different ways in the semifinals or the round 5 of the top 4 players, with a Sigismar winning one and a Trace winning the other. Important note was that we didn't see any Havens from the Trace that lost, so obviously going to be an important aspect of if the Trace is going to be able to take this matchup early on with the Havens, or is the Sigismar going to get a lot of characters on the board and just advance and win in like day 4, which is what I'm pretty sure the Sigismar did before. So, yeah.
Yep, agreed. It's not to like say this is 100% true 100% of the time, but if the Trace gets the Havens, it becomes an uphill battle for Sigismar. If they don't, then it's kind of an uphill battle for Trace, so it'll be interesting to see if they draw them and can get them out early enough to like basically close out the game before we see all the bodies start flowing on the Sigismar side. We do have a unique Stargazer. I think it's the one we saw before, but I'll read it again. It's a 0/1/1 from hand. You may discard a card from your reserve. If you do, a target character other than me loses fleeting, and then from anywhere, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, resupply. So just ways to get more things into reserve for Trace to either use or support ability to stack up those counters. And we're already at 2 counters at the end of day 1. And we got a 1/1 advance.
Yeah, it's interesting that they decided to do that, especially since the Sigismar played a Ordis Spy first without any sabotages being available. Makes me think that the Sigismar is running into issues as far as characters to play, and if the Trace hadn't gotten rid of that armor jammer in the reserve, they potentially could have put them on even less. But it looks like they were definitely prioritizing getting those counters up by being able to remove that jammer from the reserve during the afternoon, and like you said, putting the Trace up to 2 counters and potentially even hitting the ability here on day 2 if they get the right cards.
Yeah, which is, I mean, like, it is the fastest you could do it, I think. I don't think it's possible to do it on day 1.
I'm not a super big Axiom player, so maybe someone has a specific line of play that they think they can do it, but I honestly don't know. Maybe there's a unique out there that would help you do it, where you can like resupply 4 times and all of those
They all
4.
have support abilities.
Yeah, they all have
Yeah.
support abilities, and I don't know, maybe, but I it seems unlikely at the very least.
Yeah, I don't really count that as doing it. I count that as magical Christmas land. Alright, we got a unique paper hailed, 1/0/0. When another non-token character joins your expeditions, if you have less than 8 mana orbs, create 2 Ordis recruits in my expedition.
So based off of what we've seen earlier from this Sigismar player, is they have quite a few uniques that do similar things as far as creating more tokens based off of characters being played, and in some cases creating 2 tokens at a time, which are the premium uniques among Ordis right now, if you ever want to spend $500 to $600 in the marketplace.
Yeah, I'm good.
Come on, man. Why not? It's
I'm
value.
I'm happy the like beta marketplace is hopefully coming this month, and I'm happy that they're like hopefully gonna get the full thing out fairly early next year. But if you catch me spending $500 on a card, you need to like, I don't know, call the government or something. Something's wrong.
I'll be sure to make a lookout on the Discord posts just
Yeah.
in case you make an offer. It's not him. He promised me.
Looks like we're gonna get an advance
2 for 1?
double. Yep, 2 for 1 double for Sigismar, 1 for Treyst.
So, although the Sigismar is ahead at the moment, the Treyst is 1 off. And as long as the Sigismar isn't able to get a 2-0 here, it feels like the Treyst may be in a good spot, unless they don't get that Haven that we were talking about earlier. Who knows?
Yep.
But luckily for that Sigismar, they still have the availability to use that Paper Herald's effect, and this time only having to play it for 1 cost. And with 5 mana left, or with 4 mana left, they still have the ability to keep using it. And there's another unique.
Alright, Ordis Trooper 2/1/2. Whenever another non-token character joins your expeditions, if you control 3 or more other characters, create an Ordis recruit in target expedition. So
have the ability to produce a lot more tokens here, depending on what's in their hand.
yeah.
But we will see Treyst get the engine online, potentially dig in for that Haven, which they do have the ability to play here. Ooh, and a draw for the Sigismar, producing some more tokens.
Wow, just really so many tokens.
Casual day 3, 10 character, or not only 9 characters on the board. That's my bad.
9, so much less than 10.
It does mean that Sigismar will get the 2-0 that I was talking about. That might put the Treyst in danger, especially with not having a Haven out. We may see this Sigismar do something similar to the previous round and just go full out and win this game quite early.
Yeah, I think this could be an example of at least specifically that day. I'm not sure how much one Haven could have helped. Maybe like now that they probably can't make 9 bodies at once. But
I don't know. We haven't seen the third unique yet, so
that's true. 4/2, nice Kellon.
Shoutouts to Arjun.
Is that what they
and
were
we
playing
see the
tonight?
Haven. All right.
There's Haven. There's a Tinkerbell as well if they don't play the Ordis Trooper, which they're not, but they're probably sabotaging the Tinkerbell. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Is this Haven gonna turn it around?
They do have stuff in the reserve, but and it's low cost, so technically they can play everything in their reserve at the moment. The question is can they stop both sides? Because I don't think they want the Sigismar to go adjacent at the moment.
Yeah, we're currently in the air quotes final match with the Sigismar and Treyst, and Sigismar got off to a very quick start. I think we're on day 3, right? Am I crazy?
Day 4, I think. Wait, what are you at? 6 mana?
Yeah, so day 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're already one space away. Or they're not adjacent, there's a space between.
Yeah, 2 advances away, but they are out of mana here, so it does give the Treyst an opportunity to play those low costs and go ahead and stop any advancing from the Sigismar at least this day. But it will be dependent to see what kind of availability that will leave for the Sigismar. They decide to play 2 cards that aren't fleeting, so they will have to make a decision on which cards they're getting rid of after this, but it will be interesting. So we see the Stargazer being played, guaranteeing the hero side, and then they can also play something from hand here. Yeah. That will guarantee the companion side. And also leave 2 cards in the reserve to utilize that Haven.
Yep.
See, all it took was the Haven to show up, and
yeah.
now all of a sudden we get a 2-0 from Treyst. What's all this about?
Yep. The Haven. It's the Haven. Although, if they had the 9 characters, it would have been a little closer. Although they maybe still would have advanced, but it's
makes it a little bit better. But we do see both sides deciding to mana. Probably similar resources once the Treyst gets to activate the ability, but we do see the Trooper unique come out right away, and there's just enough. Oh, this one isn't based off of the Mono Orbs, never mind. But either way, can they get out just as many tokens as that one turn? I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not enough left, but who knows? Ooh, another 1 cost. That will be helpful.
Yeah. Yep. Playing that Foundry just to pass it back, basically. Alright.
Another Yaga makes me think the Sigismar is in fact digging at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe they have some disruption / removal available to them that they're trying to get to. But we will see.
Mountain water, forest water. Alright. Looks like Treyst is splitting up a little bit.
Yeah, they still have a lot of stats available to them with that Keylon Elemental though, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think they're figuring that they know a lot of tokens are going to happen on that companion side, and maybe they just don't even want to waste resources.
No, the Keylon would actually block the companion side, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be? No, they're 1-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apologies for the ad popping up.
The height of the excitement of the finals match.
Always. The Treyst is thinking. They are playing a Jin. Or Jian, sorry. And the companion side, which is interesting.
It will be enough to block, but not enough to advance. I think.
No, because they need to move on water, so it doesn't block.
Yeah.
So they're both gonna move 1. Sigismar is adjacent, and Treyst needs 2 advances to win.
Yeah, and an interesting resource lineup because the Sigismar definitely has more in hand, but the Treyst does have the ability to activate their hero ability, so should be fun to see what this potential last day comes down to. did the Sigismar advance enough early to win, or getting that Treyst ability online on day 3, even though going behind, gonna be able for the Treyst to come back? I don't know.
Yeah.
And neither do you, because enjoy Carl's Jr. ads.
Just 1 second. All right, there we go.
Welcome back.
I was a little confused by the Gian play, but now I realize they just wanted it in reserve, so
yeah,
it makes more sense now.
The real question is they're trying to figure out here if they want to keep both the cards in hand here. They know they have at least one draw coming in, and they don't know if they'll need that mana or not, I'd imagine. Because I think they probably can play everything that they have at the moment, but with the draw, they may not be able to play it, and they're going to need everything they can to potentially block. So we'll see.
They indeed managed. Honestly, my whole chat getting 4-2 sounds like accurate as hell. No offense, everyone. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you played really well, but
he's just saying everyone in chat is mid.
Well, at least one person in chat was playing Arjun, so I actually think you deserved a lower rating, but...
Interesting.
Amelia...
So I see the Amelia Earhart. We know that the Sigismar doesn't have those at least 2 uniques that generate tokens. There's still the chance of that third one popping up. Going through half their deck at this point. The question is, can they advance without that special unique? I don't know.
Man.
Or can the Treyst pull out the comeback with a 2-0 here?
I guess it'll have 1 in water, but Gian having no water is kind of not like the most awkward thing in this situation, but like it would definitely help, obviously. Hey Dex, how are you doing tonight? We're in the final match of the 10th weekly online league. Looks like we've got the 3rd unique now. This is the one that from hand it creates an Ordis in your other expedition, or a recruit in your other expedition, and then when another non-token character joins your expeditions, if you control 4 more characters, create 2 recruits in my expedition. So this is not bad to see right now, for sure.
Yeah. All it took was a Sigismar to get all 3 uniques.
And all 3 uniques that work like fairly similarly.
Yeah, and the Treyst just 1 Haven though, so we'll see if it matters. 3 and 4 mana. Who's gonna take it? Lot of stats for the Sigismar. I don't know if the Treyst can catch up.
Yeah, it's especially awkward now because like they only need to advance on one side.
Yep.
But as soon as you start committing to one side, they just play a character and like put.
Yeah, and there's so many low cost things in the Sigismar. They could play the Baba Yaga, but they may have multiple 1 costs in hand.
Yeah, just keep making tokens.
And there's only 1 card left in the hand.
Oh,
and then we see a Sandman. That's gonna take out some stats for the Treyst.
Yeah.
Interesting they decided to stop him on that side opposed to sleeping the Keylon Elemental too, to go on both sides, but either way I don't think it matters.
Yeah. I don't think it matters in the end, and personally I would have slept the Amelia because a 1 in water is lower than a 3 or in either stat, so
we get the GGs in the chat.
Matter in the end. Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like Silver saying not reading the paper hill cost them a lot.
GG's, Ordis back on top. We were just talking about how we didn't see a lot of Sigismar wins. Well, guess what? We see one today.
There we go. We spoke it into the universe. Welcome back, everyone. That was the final match of the 10th weekly online league for Altered TCG. What did we think of the event overall, Blue?
It was fun. I think once we got past those first few stages and started looking at the top players, we saw a lot of reoccurring heroes that we were expecting to see, I guess, from the beginning. A little bit of Treyst, a little bit of Sigismar. Surprised we didn't see a little bit more Tasia. Maybe that's just a European thing that we see on Mondays a little bit more than on Wednesdays, but who knows? Either way, fun event as a whole, and fun to see the Sigismar and Ordis back on top. Once Waru is gone, it seems like just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah. I think I can say that like disappointment is not the right word, but I would have liked to see Tasia or another Amuna hero or even a Bravos hero getting to those top tables. But there were some fun matches at the end there. At least it was kind of funny that the semifinals were both Sigismar versus Treyst matches, and then the final was a Sigismar versus Treyst match. It felt a little bit like deja vu. But speaking of the final match, Sigismar versus Treyst, um, what can we say about Haven? What do you think? Do you think it is the card of the deck, or do you think that it did not help in this finals as much as it could have?
It's interesting because they obviously didn't get it super early. We're talking like day one or day two,
Yeah,
but they did get it eventually. But to counter that, the Sigismar player was able to get two of their uniques really early,
yep,
one of which requires it to get it early, needing to have less than 8 mana in order to activate the effect. Um, but also hits the third unique on that final day right when they need it. Whether they were holding in hand or not, I don't know. So it's an interesting comparison to see that even with all three uniques being played, the Trace was still kind of like right there in the game with
yep,
only one Haven played on, I think, day three.
yeah.
Um, so definitely shows how strong the hero can be, um, even with or without Haven, and just how powerful certain uniques can be for certain heroes.
Yeah, definitely. I think like it definitely showed the strength of Trace card advantage and the strength of Haven because on two separate occasions, the Sigismar uniques let them have like nine, like 8 to 10 bodies in their expeditions, which is just like basically impossible for any deck to deal with unless you can boost a lot. And the Trace still caught up. They were pretty far behind at the beginning. Sigismar had a very quick start, and they still caught up and almost overtook, but just couldn't uh, overtake at the end there. Um, we were talking about how Sigismar typically does well at these events, but doesn't usually top. So I'm certainly happy to see Sigismar win this event. I don't think Waru getting nerfed should mean that the whole faction has to suffer for it. So I'm happy to see another hero kind of doing well in the faction.
Yeah, with Sigismar, if you think about it, it has a fairly good matchup against a lot of different decks. With being able to go wide, it's not really prone to certain types of removal, like off you go, that are pretty popular. And Keylon Burst, no one wants to use a Keylon Burst on a token.
Yeah,
Um, but it also is fairly dependent on hitting the right cards that you need to win the game and start off really well. Like I wasn't super confident in one of those matchups when we saw the Sigismar start off with a spy play, because
yeah,
that just makes me think that they didn't have anything to play right away. But obviously, if you hit the right uniques at the right time, it really doesn't matter. So
yeah,
um, there you go.
yep. Turns out good uniques will make up for a lot, and as long as you see them in games. But yeah, there's some fun matches. Uh, as people know, this will be my last commentary stream for the year, but I'm sure other people will do it in my place. It's been a good time. Blue will do it in my place, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But
check out
thanks.
Blue. Check me out, man.
Yeah. But thanks to everyone for joining. Blue, people should know by now, but where can they find you?
You can find me at youtube.com, Blue Oak TV. I'm also Blue Oak TV and on other social medias if you want to check those out as well, but mostly just the YouTube. And if you do want to check out AWOL on another stream now that Spooks is gone and actually seen family during the holidays, you can always check me out. I don't have any family. They all died in a car crash. I'm just kidding. That didn't happen, but feel
Well,
sorry for me anyway. And check me out, Blue Oak TV. I'll be planning to be streaming, let's say next week, probably not the week afterwards because it is Christmas and I actually do have family that I should see. And so should you. Don't play Altered on Christmas. I mean, maybe play Altered on Christmas, but maybe not a tournament. Either way, that's where you can find me.
play
Thank
Altered
you.
with your family. Make them buy cards.
Exactly.
There we go.
Give them all your comments.
Yeah, well, you can do that. People can find other videos from me on YouTube as well at the same name. I'm gonna try to edit this video after this stream so that it gets up on the YouTube tomorrow morning. Tomorrow will be my last stream of the year. We're gonna watch the Game Awards. If anybody wants to stop by, you're all welcome to. Thank you for the follow, Silver. And yeah, we hope everyone has a good night. We hope you're having a good life, and we'll catch you next time. Bye bye.